it's Maria, and I'm doing Overview Part 5 of An Existential Journey in Forgiveness to Love. And I don't know what's going on with my throat, so I apologize in advance. It was fine a minute ago. Anyway, this one's titled From the Pinnacle to Rock Bottom and Back Again. And so with that title, it's only too blazingly obvious what you're going to hear in the message I'm sharing today. I think you'll really like it. You know, the details of my life are personal, yet we can all find a teacup to a tanker full of issues and hardships that have affected every one of us, really. And believe me, I never, ever, ever imagined while living a life of luxury as I dressed for the opera ball, you know, in a stunning off-the-runway, one-of-a-kind gown picked up in Paris to be chauffeured to the Civic Opera House, the Met or Covent Garden, to hear Placido Domingo, or a long time ago it was Pavarotti. Anyway, that I would be residing in a 16-bed shelter in the ghetto where steel bars secured the windows from thieves. I kid you not. Yes, I swear. And I aimlessly walked dressed in black camouflage. And so in camouflage, you know, I had on a black baseball cap and my hair was pulled back in a ponytail. And I was wearing a black top, a black jacket, black pants, black gym shoes. Yes, I was head to toe black. And I was aimlessly walking around and I had nowhere to go and no one to know. I mean, it was just, the dichotomy is just so crazy. But that part of my journey was so bizarre, yes, that it's in those moments of solitude and deep introspection that I realized I had a very real subconscious issue with money. Duh, right? Anybody hearing that story would have picked up on that, except me. But that issue desperately, desperately needed healing. So for most of my life, I wondered if those around me loved me for who I was, or for what I had. And so I know it seems kind of silly, a question, but really I think a lot of people actually have that issue. And I wanted to know, were people attracted to me because of my heart or my sense of humor or my personality or my smile? Or was it what I could be for them, what I could do for them, or what I could give to them? And so I always had friends. I had friends, and more friends. And suddenly I was all alone to face life as I went from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows, from the seeming pinnacle of success, right, to the nadir of despondency, from the mountain to the valley, you know, from the top to the rock bottom. I've experienced both sides of that coin. And that's interesting. The coin, it's kind of funny, no pun intended, but the pun is definitely there. It's the irony of life. And many of us have learned it well, actually. And it's when we're in that scary place, that's when we can understand and surrender to the divine's plan for our life, right? Because otherwise we don't have a clue. And so sometimes the pendulum swings from the rafters from one extreme to the other and then back again. And that's when it's most important to remember that nothing happens to us. Everything happens for us and for the expansion of our soul. And so we know of a lot of spiritual gurus, right, who've made fortunes telling us to be positive and it's all love and light. But you know what? When I was broke and hungry, I didn't really want to hear that. And I imagine other people out there didn't find that to be particularly nurturing or nourishing by any stretch of the imagination. And the stories I liked were the ones of people overcoming because they faced it. And we all have something to overcome. And so it's not a pity party, it brings hope and incentive, really, for others to change their life and to applaud all the things that we've all done right? Because there are so many things that we do right. However, sometimes the magnitude of the things that we haven't done right sometimes overshadow the good, right? And I will swear to you that I will always, always remember living in a car, sleep deprived, and fearing for my life. Surrounded, and that's not it. That's not all. It's surrounded by a military-like convoy of monster trucks driven by these big muscle men to spook me. And there were no bathroom facilities to even shower or to simply empty my bladder. I couldn't even begin to make sense of the twilight zone I was in. I mean, come on, I'm rich, like big time rich. And I have to figure out where I'm allowed to use the nearest potty. And I thought, hey, wait a minute. Hello, I'm American too. I live in America. So I contrasted that to the story of my friends shared when they were traveling to Japan. And they were telling me about this gold-plated heated commode with remote control flushing. So I guess that means they can be standing in the living room or something, and they'd be able to flush the commode. I'm not sure why they would be doing that there. Why didn't they just do it in the bathroom? But anyway, that's kind of interesting that they have that now, that technology. I was unaware of that. But years ago, I might have been the one telling that story because it is kind of amusing. The truth is that our stories evolve as we evolve. And we know that life is never stagnant and never boring. And life calls on us to spread our wings, to transform and to grow and to become bigger and better and wiser versions of ourselves. We can never stay the same, right? We have to search for more. We have to grow. And we can embrace our essence and connect with the divine within us and help others find that same connection. Our world so desperately needs that, don't you think? I certainly do. And here's the thing. In the past, when I had tried to share bits of my story, I heard, no. We only want happy, and positive stories. Well, for me, that was fantasy, because however difficult my past, I was proud of what I had survived. My highs, of course, were to the moon and back, while my lows were, shall we say, pretty low. And it's during those moments of solitude, when that we can have those profound epiphanies and revelations. And one of my more memorable ones was that no one would accompany me on this journey because it was my journey and I needed the solitude to become strong and empowered and connected to my God, to my Creator. And that's when I felt a connectedness to everyone and everything around me. And so sometimes silence is the key to our being able to elevate to higher states of consciousness. And so as I felt the flutter, of the butterfly wings and the song of the nightingale and the hum of the hummingbird, I was able to really listen to nature, whether I was at a beach or at a park or just outside. And it's that energy that's indescribable, and it takes us to our knees. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm sure you do. And it gets even better because on a soul level, we can feel the divine embrace us and envelop us in a love that's so profound and so sublime that it didn't matter how much money or resources we had or didn't have, or people in our lives in the physical, because we lack nothing. We lack no thing at all, right? That's nothing. And we become so deeply humbled and grateful to be alive, to experience the most fantastic journey anywhere at any time. And you've heard that many a legend has admitted to having learned through extraordinary pain and struggle. And the truth is that we're all ordinary Joes on our way to becoming those legends. And we know suffering changes us, humbles us, and pushes us to quest for answers when in the past we didn't even know the questions. We can seek new beginnings because we've gone through the fire, we've gone within, and we've become clear and focused on how to use our gifts to serve. And we're serving the divine, we're not serving ourselves. We are serving the divine within us, inside and outside of ourselves, in everyone and everything we encounter. And I like to call them my Jesus moments. And so it is in those profound Jesus moments when we realize our life purpose and our mission here, and it flashes like right in front of our cute little nosies, right? In all its sparkles and neon colors. So let's take it from the beginning. We've incarnated here to realize our gifts and to share them with others, right? And as we shed light onto the darkness, we realize that we are divinity expressed, and we're each being called upon to make a difference. As we heal ourselves, we heal our fellow human beings, and ultimately planet Earth, our planetary home. Wow, that's pretty exciting. And so we own our divinity, and we own all the gifts that we've been given. And so we have to serve the energy of creation in all its splendor. That's what we're here to do. And I tell you that at so very many points in time in my journey, I lost faith, especially when I was told that the man I married was responsible for a contract on my life. And I thought, oh my God. All because I told the truth of what I was witnessing during my life, during my marriage, during my divorce, and all the years of litigation since, including the estate litigation of the last 12 years. I told the truth of the gang stalking, the harassment, the lies and the shunning, the humiliation, the thieving of my own children, my assets, my reputation, and nearly my life. I told my truth. Hey, I live in a free country, right? With free speech. But you see, the truth can be manipulated. And I did not deserve to be portrayed as someone less than, someone who deserved to be banished from her own children, from her own family, and from society at large. I became, listen to this, yes, I became the poster child for the reprimanded truth teller. So it was like, if you tell the truth, you're going to end up like Maria. And so I cannot tell you how many people I know gave up and gave in and stayed in abusive situations rather than enter the legal arena. And they decided to play it safe and stay put because they said, I will not lose what Maria lost. No, 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 no way. And so standing up for truth had too high a price, and it wasn't worth the losses and the drama and the trauma and certainly the really bad PR. Yet, do you know what is the true pandemic that plagues our people? It's our inability to live an authentic life. Because oftentimes we're described as ditzy dumbbells, delusional provocateurs who've made it all up, everything we say, right? And so we can call countless people for help. We can write bushels of letters. We can send a flurry of emails. We can turn to the internet to reach out. Yet our voice falls on deaf ears and our messages fall on blind eyes. Believe me, I've been there. I've written the emails, I've sent the letters, I've made the calls, I've done it all. And yet, somehow, they all just disappear into cyberspace rather than where they were meant to be. That's true. And so, despite countless efforts, newspaper editors, journalists, investigative reporters, news anchors, media honchos. Let's see who else is there. Producers, directors, internet gurus, authors, governors, senators, congressmen, mayors, local officials, city councilmen, government entities, law enforcement, and every advocate, foundation, megachurch, political, and judicial entity known to man. They simply had no room in their calendar to even talk to me via phone, Zoom, anything they wanted, I would have done. Yet they were just too busy. And so you see, help eludes us due to the proverbial elephant in the room. We've all heard that phrase where there's something, there's an energy that is blocking us, and it's as large as the elephant in the room. And so with that, there's no room for anything else. And yet we can't overcome it. We can't see over it. We can't figure out a way to get it out of the room. That is just the way it is, right? And so it appeared to me that the highest echelons of society bank on our anesthesia and are distracting ourselves in addiction and idiocy, right? Because madness in the collective of humanity is a given. The most cunning and conniving litigant is rewarded when truth is suppressed. That's the MO. So here's my sentence that I just love. It's the annihilation of democracy is the massacre of humanity. And my angels gave that to me in my sleep one day, and I awakened with those words because to me it describes my thoughts perfectly. As a nation, we've stooped to the depth of fancy footwork and emotional razzle-dazzle when all we want is in the legal system is justice, fair play, due process, honesty, and integrity. That's the cry of people everywhere. We're all here to become more of who we truly are, which is to embody the highest consciousness we're able. And we are here to transform lives and validate the truth. It's no longer about money is power, money is God, or power is God. That's crazy. We're sacrificing ourselves. It's time to lay down the plastic kitty tools and grab hold of the industrial jackhammer because there's much work to be done in terms of, you'll like this, reward versus punishment, right? Loyalty versus conspiracy, honesty versus collusion, virtue versus corruption. How about ethics versus immorality, integrity versus deception, lack versus plenty, joy versus sorrow, good versus evil, light versus dark, and all the other extremes. That on the other side of the veil, we all so brilliantly agreed to experience. Oh my gosh, we really did. Otherwise, we wouldn't be. So, with strength and courage, with passion and empowered resolve, we're to embody the grandest vision we hold of ourselves as we go forward in faith, in trust and in truth. We have everything we need to become our very best self. We have the courage and the tools to blaze forward, breaking through. Here's another proverbial glass cage, right? I know it's the glass ceiling, but I like to call it the glass cage that has entrapped us in generational dysfunction. The bottom line is that our journey has been personally designed for us and by us in collaboration with the divine so that we can leap forward and expand our soul. Now you might ask, Maria, how can this be? Well, let me tell you, I believe that we live in a perfect universe, and everything we need to know, we already know. It's just a matter of remembering. It's in our deepest subconscious. And if that's a given, then so is the perfection of everyone and everything in our experience. So all those human beings in our life are actually perfection personified. Can you believe that one? Yes, I mean really every single one, right? As to their role in our life. And just like they impact us, we impact them. We're each unique individuals dealing with our own lifetime trauma, and karma. And when we're the recipient of their wrath and dysfunction, we understand that we actually chose that experience. We chose to experience their darkness to ultimately heal some aspect of ourselves. And so these are the human beings that are consumed in their own dysfunction. It's their choice to unconsciously maneuver their way through life. It's the game they play. They view others through distorted lenses. And for those of us who've experienced the best and the worst of humanity, the message of Jesus guides us to forgive them. I'm sure we've all heard this, for they know not what they do. You see, forgiveness is for us. We can never control another's behavior. They have to want to change, and most often it's pain, heartbreak, suffering that changes people and sometimes even awakens them, right? What we do know is that since everything is energy, negative individuals vibrate at a lower frequency, where the energy is dark and dense, and where there is little rational thought or conscience. So when we understand this, we remember who we are, as well as who they are. And I know it sounds a little bizarre, and it may seem even more bizarre, yet when we are brought together with people whose ethics and morals and values are diametrically opposed to our own, it's to heal parts of ourselves that we need for our evolution into higher energies. And why, you might ask? Well, of course, you know the answer. It's to expand our soul. That's the only reason we're here. I mean, that is the ultimate reason why we're here. And then along the way, we lay the groundwork for the ultimate goal of expansion of our soul. The ways that I like to look at it sometimes is the depiction of the yin and the yang, because there's a speck of the light in the darker aspect, and then there's a spot of darkness in the light. And so there's a speck of what we're not in that which we are. Does that make sense to you? And it's quite the miracle. And so all we can do is go onward and upward for more eye-opening revelations, and know that I so appreciate you for gaining this understanding that few have truly. So let's keep going and move forward to connect at the next Forgiveness to Love video. And please remember, I love you so much. Thank you for being here.